Welcome back, everybody, to the Commissioner's Corner, the official podcast of the Jay Fiacchi Choke Club, the Dynasty League, where the trash talk is loud, the trades are questionable, and the beer, well, it's occasionally shotgunned on video. I'm your host and commissioner, Luke Dunkelberg, proud GM of the Adams family, and it's time to dive into the madness of Week 8. Lots to talk about, crazy trade that went down, some league rules and integrity that we need to touch on. And I have D. Cleary 14, a.k.a. Mystic Dan, in the house today to sit down in the studio to discuss everything. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. All right, like I said before, great episode for you guys today. I got Dan Cleary, Mystic Dan, in the house today. Dan, how we doing?
Luke, great to be on. I'm really excited about this. Really excited about the whole league this year. A lot of exciting action going on. So
awesome.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, I want to get right into the drama of the week. So for those that don't know, trade went down essentially 2 minutes before kickoff, before each of these players were going to start, and I think it was 4:05 or a 4:15 game for both the Colts and the Giants. I guess Giants didn't really matter too much. Essentially what the trade was it was Jonathan Taylor for Malik Nabers straight up. Obviously, Malik Nabers out on IR for the rest of the year with an injury. Jonathan Taylor, incredible player this year. Regan had Jonathan Taylor initially. Jamie had Malik Nabers. From what I heard, Regan had sent the trade 2 weeks ago. He is horrible about voiding any trades. 2 minutes before kickoff, Jamie accepts that trade. They were going up against each other. And Jamie wanted a undefeated season because there's money on the line for that. So I think he was trying to catch him off guard. But that's essentially the general gist of the trade. So, what's your take on it? Just initially, what were your thoughts when you had seen it come through? Did you even realize, because initially I didn't realize that the game was going to start 2 minutes later?
Yeah, to me, the bigger surprise was it was just a big trade. I mean, Nabers looking like one of the top wide receivers right now. Injured, of course, but I am a little bit surprised. I mean, and the rich get richer here. Jamie looking like he's already got a pretty stacked squad going for that undefeated season. Gets absolutely. Jonathan Taylor's just crushing it. The timing is a little questionable, though. I think
agree.
Both sides have a little bit, Jamie, I think, has to be, you're working in the league with these other GMs, right? You gotta be on good terms with everybody. So I think it's a little slimy, especially you're going up against them this week. But you can't leave it hanging out there. It's good to send the trade offers, let them marinate for a bit. But if it's going to potentially impact your matchup that week, I think you gotta remove it.
So from what I had heard from a source close to the matter, Jamie accidentally accepted this trade.
Interesting.
He accidentally took his phone out of his pocket and accidentally accepted the trade. Just happened to be 2 minutes before the game started. He just happened to be able to get Jonathan Taylor into his lineup before the game started as well. Are you buying that?
I don't buy that at all. Absolutely not. I mean, it's a lot of steps that you have to go through. It's not like, oh, geez, I just butt accepted that trade. That was really beneficial to me in the moment. So I don't know about all that.
What side do you think won the trade? Because personally, I think Regan absolutely fleeced Jamie in this trade. I believe Jamie was trying to scum Regan in this trade. I think it ended up backfiring. Because I think Malik Nabers, much younger, going to be a wide receiver one and one of the top wide receivers in the league for years and years and years. Obviously, he's getting Jonathan Taylor now, which Jonathan Taylor is one of the best, if not the best, fantasy running back this season. But he's a running back. He's 26 years old. I mean, I don't know how many years left he has of high-quality production just because he's a running back. Whereas Nabers, he's 22, 23 years old. So I think long-term, Regan knocked it out of the park.
I agree long term, Regan definitely wins this trade. But, I mean, if we're talking about this year, these are two teams that are both competing, too. So I think Jamie is going to end up, I mean, I think that just brings his team up to another level. And Regan, I mean, he's still right up there in the mix of things, too. So I think it's a little bit surprising, but he's got most hated's first overall pick, which is going to be probably a pretty high pick there. So
he did just win this week. He had to win this week.
The 2-6 crew. I think there's 4 guys at 2-6 right now.
Fair,
so
fair.
I think it's a little bit surprising for Regan wanting to go that route to kind of trade away right now for the future when he's contending. But
I think the strategy that Jamie had did end up backfiring on him because Regan did end up beating him anyway.
Yes.
I do have some what do I call it? Someone close to the matter. I have information that they had given me. Apparently in back channels, I had one of my sources kind of hack into phones, and I got some messages that were sent back and forth between Jamie and Regan. Jamie's regretting the trade, and he wants to trade back. He thinks it's unethical for Regan to not trade Neighbors back for Jonathan Taylor.
Because he accidentally accepted.
Correct.
Of course.
Correct. What do we think? Do we that unconfirmed, just a source close to the matter that I have. That's what's being said. And as commissioner, what I think would happen in that situation, because they both played, well, obviously Neighbors didn't play, but because Jonathan Taylor played, if they go back now and redo the trade, I think I would have to take a first-round pick from both of them because I think that would go against anti-collusion clause because the game has already been played. If someone accidentally accepted a trade and then 2 minutes later, not 2 minutes before kickoff, and before any of the players played, they wanted to redo it, I'm fine with that. But since the games have been played, that's where I'm at with it. Is that too harsh? Is that collusion, do we think, if the trade is reversed?
I don't. I mean, if they really want to reverse it, I mean, I think there should be some sort of penalty. 2 firsts is crazy.
I mean, it's crazy from each side.
A first from each side, though, yeah, that seems a little nuts. But hey, I'm gonna listen to the commissioner on this one. So.
Listen, I'm just here what I say.
Interesting. Lot going on there on the internal channels.
Last question on this bit. If you were the commissioner, what would you do in this situation? Would you have done anything differently? Would you have reversed the trade immediately since it was 2 minutes before kickoff? What are we thinking?
It's tough. It's tough. I kind of let it play out on the field, right?
Yep.
It's at this point, if you do nothing, it's kind of the easiest way to go. Is, hey, the trade happened. It was kind of slimy to accept it right before the deadline. And if it was really an accident, you guys work it out amongst yourself if you really want to do a trade back. It would be different too if they weren't playing each other. I almost think because they were playing each other, it kind of is okay to do a trade back. If he was trying to trade a player, for 1 week so he could beat one player and then to trade back, that would be where I would say that's more collusion.
Okay.
So.
All right. Yep. Nope. Totally get it. We will, stick with us. Hear a word from our sponsor, and we'll get back into it. This episode of the Commissioner's Corner is brought to you by Keep Trade Cut. Because why trust your gut when you can trust a bunch of strangers on the internet? Whether you're convincing yourself that Trey Benson is worth a first, or refreshing Jalen Hurts' value for the 12th time of the day, Keep Trade Cut has your back. The numbers may change hourly, but your addiction, that's permanent. Keep Trade Cut, turning every league chat argument into a data-driven dumpster fire since 2020. All right, welcome back. So, speaking of last-minute chaos here, I kind of want to define what a legal lineup is, kind of why it matters. Obviously, we have QB, Superflex, 2 RB, 3 wide receiver, 2 flex, and a tight end spot, if I got that right. Kind of just going off the riff here. What a legal lineup is you need to start startable players in each section. So you need to start 2 startable running backs. They can't be on IR. They can't be on a bye. Obviously, 3 wide receivers, 2 flex players, a tight end, super flex, and then the quarterback slot. The quarterback slot, we did run into a bit of a sticky situation, bit of a unique situation. I did include it in the rule book called the empty cupboard clause. Essentially, what had happened this week, we had an individual, and obviously I don't hold this against him at all, because it's a bit of a weird and new situation. He had 3 quarterbacks. He has Jared Goff, J.J. McCarthy, and Bryce Young. Bryce Young and J.J. McCarthy for him were on IR. Jared Goff on a bye. He didn't have any other quarterbacks able to start, so he ended up starting Jared Goff, who was obviously on a bye. In that situation, that would interfere with a legal lineup and initiate the kind of empty cupboard clause. What you would need to do in that situation is you just need to either pick up any quarterback, and they can be backup quarterbacks like a Nathan Peterman. They just need to be on an active roster, and they're able to play. Obviously, they're probably not going to play if they're a backup, but they just need to be have an opportunity to where they could. Or you make a trade for an active quarterback. Reason we have that, it's a bit of a strategy situation because obviously you're going to have your bench players. If you need to pick up a backup QB, you're probably going to have to make a business decision and cut one of the guys on the bench. Do you think, Dan, is this a fair is this a fair thing to say?
I think it's completely fair. We set up the rule so that there's no one. It's the anti-tanking rule, right? That you can't actively put you actually have to try every single week. And the issue, the biggest issue, there were quarterbacks available. 2 quarterbacks were picked up on waivers. Tyrod Taylor went for 21. Andy Dalton went for 13. I mean, it's not none of those were crazy. I mean, we had Jacob Browning go for 95 earlier in the season. We did have
Okay, yeah. No, I'm looking at the trade there. He did make a claim for Tyrod Taylor. Didn't make one for Andy Dalton.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he did what he thought was best. Tried to pick up, a starting, QB. I'm just saying, in a situation like that, and we had another player the week before, Josh's Jax. Jeez, tongue twister there. Was in a similar situation. Didn't have any quarterback to start. So what he ended up doing was just picking up any, just a backup quarterback and starting them.
And unfortunately, it is what it is. I think that the rules clearly state that you can't have a guy on bye or IR. So I think, and if you look around the league, I know Mitch got some time at the end of the Bills game. I know, Milton was playing for the Cowboys for a little bit. So around the league, you're better off doing that and rolling the dice to see if a backup gets in than putting up a goose egg. So.
Yeah, and switching gears a little bit off of this specific scenario, we kind of also have rules in place for, anti-tanking situations. How would you distinguish a legitimate lineup from someone that's putting in bad players and sitting starters?
Well, the trick is that we have a punishment if you get the lowest points each week.
Correct.
Now, some people are a little bit...
we talked about this last week, too.
A little bit taking their sweet time. Now, the rules do clearly state that, you need to get them all in by the end of the season. All of your shotguns must be completed by the end of the season. That was one of the things that I was curious about bringing up. Are we given too long on the shotguns? Because, it seems like... either I want to see 4 in a row on video. If people are racking them up, or do we put a time limit for? Obviously, we can't implement these types of rules. This season, do we put a time limit on the shotguns? I would suggest by the next Monday Night Football game, by the end of it, that gives you you can do it on Tuesday night like a freak like I did, or that gives you a reasonable Friday, Saturday, it's a more reasonable time to do a shotgun. That way we're not stringing them out. Nobody has to keep track of them. Like, off the top, do you have any, like, are you tracking who, or would you have to scroll back through and see the lowest points?
No, I know, and most of the lowest points are, two people, TJW and B-Todd. They are, I think they're in tank mode. They're going for that 101, 102. What I would say, obviously this is the first year that we implemented it. A lot of moving parts, things that we didn't anticipate. I do think maybe next season we do implement, got to be done by the Monday night game, or a strike occurs or something. I'd say that's something that we can kind of vote on just to nail down something more concrete, to kind of help with the the anti-tanking and that kind of thing. Interestingly enough, we do have a punishment that we did agree on for the loser each year. We've just never been able to come up with a final end of season punishment, so we've never done it. Because if we did, obviously I lost the first year, so it'd be me. Last year, who was
Nick?
Was it? Oh, no,
right? No,
Nick won. No, Nick won the first
hated,
year.
Yeah. I think it was.
Was it?
I think so. He's
or
got
was
the
it
poop
B-Todd?
emoji.
I can't remember who.
Let's see, poop emoji.
Had the 101 exactly,
Jesus
but
Christ. Poop emoji right there. I think
it'd be me. Oh yeah, it'd be me and most hated, and then whoever ends up. So I don't know. Maybe it's something we just get rid of. We just keep the shotguns. I feel like the shotguns are something that's a little bit more fun because we haven't even done a total end of season punishment just because we can't really agree on anything. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy at the beginning of the season to come up with these ridiculous, last place punishments, but then at the very end, it's tough because the person in last place, usually it's not. Usually these teams are pretty competitive. Usually most teams, you're gonna have some solid players that you can put a decent roster together. And you most of the time just get unlucky with injuries. So It is a weird spot. Nobody wants to have a crappy season and then also do a punishment. When
I get it.
Early in the year, you're already eyeballing. Oh, geez, this is going to be rough for me. So I like the goofy, fun penalty of the shotgun. Maybe we do something else that's if people don't really want to drink or whatever. But I like the setup we have now with no true loser punishment.
All right, getting into our next section, I want to kind of switch gears to your team and kind of how you're feeling about things, how you're feeling about your team, your strategies. You tanking, you're going for a win this year. What's been working out for you this year?
Well, we're 4-4, sixth place, technically still in the playoffs right now, but. I think there's just some fundamental flaws with my team. I think it took me a couple of years to really figure out this whole dynasty thing. I love great QBs. I love, logging into Keep Trade Cut and seeing number one QBs. I think Cody's actually got me now with Dart, ascending here. But really like Lamar and Burrow. I got Stafford now too. Just, the injuries are crushing me now. Yeah. We'll see when Lamar's coming back now. Burrow might be back by playoff time if I can hang on. I've got a good crew of running backs now. I really like Judkins. I might say I think I got the best rookie running back. I mean, it's a little controversial, but right now, I think he's putting up really solid numbers. A lot of question marks at the beginning of the year. I had to kind of wait and see there, but I'm happy with my guy there, and Williams for the. Down in Dallas is crushing it this year. At the beginning of the season, I couldn't get anyone to take him off my hands, and now I wouldn't let go of them. My wide receivers are my biggest issues. I think that you need to have the way that you need to have your team set up is that you have 5 wide receivers to fill the 3 wide receiver roles and the 2 flex roles. And right now, I've got my decent running backs filling those extra flex roles. I think if I could really get those. I really need to get some solid wide receivers. So I'm not full on tanking yet until I'm out of the playoff contention. I think I've gotten lucky on a few wins here. My points for are not top 6. So I think I'm kind of a fraud right now. But hey, I still think that if Burrow comes back by playoffs and Lamar can just be ridiculous, then I still think I have a chance to upset anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I know you said you're 4-4. You're right there in the hunt. I had kind of a similar situation to you last year. I was kind of just flirting between just right on, the playoff picture. It wasn't really until like the last 1 or 2 games that really solidified me into the playoffs. Ended up making a run in the playoffs, winning the chip. Do you have, and we're also in the time of the season where teams are going to start making business decisions. We're going to be full on tank mode now. We're selling the team. Do you have any ammunition, picks, other players that maybe are injured, something like that, where you could make, trades to upgrade your team to from some of those, tanking teams? Like, does any of that cross your mind ever?
Absolutely. I mean, I got Burrow. I think I got Reed. Both of them on IR. Both of them would be available for anyone who's I don't really care about the IR roster spot, and I'll move around some players that are solid contributors right now. I've also got I think I counted. I think I have 15 picks between 2026 and 2027.
Wow.
So definitely, if things start sliding, I'd want to consolidate those 2027 picks and move up a little bit in the draft. And those, but if I am starting to sneak back up into the playoffs, I would definitely move some draft picks around to some of those tanking teams.
Okay, yeah, I like it. Breakout player you're most proud of, either drafting, or trading for, that's on your team. I know you kind of mentioned a couple of guys: Judkins, Lamar, Burrow. What guy are you most proud of? Maybe you picked him up, he started going off, you got crazy value for him. Anyone specific come to mind there?
I mean, I guess just Judkins. Damn it, I don't want to say the same guy over again.
No, I mean, you did say it, and I feel like he was really good value, kind of where you picked him up.
Yeah, I think at the spot, I think I was third. No, it was the third pick because it was. And Gentry was first, right?
Yeah,
and
Then, when Genty, I can't remember who went second.
The Chargers guy.
Oh, no.
He's hurt now.
Oh, yeah. Hampton.
Yeah. I think those
Genty
two guys
Hampton,
were
right.
clear 1-2, and then I was in that third spot. It was kind of like there was Stevenson, there was
Travis Hunter was in conversation
yeah.
to be one of the top guys.
And I knew, especially at the time, I knew I wanted a running back. So I think I went with the Browns had a really good running attack. With Chubb, they move on. They didn't have a clear number one guy, and so I figured they're high draft pick, second round Judkins. So that's the move that probably I'm the proudest of right now. I guess another guy I'll say now, it's not looking necessarily great, but I think my last pick of the draft was Browns quarterback.
Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel, yeah. Which sure, Shador was the fun name. Picked at least one round before me, but I got him great. I think pretty solid value in the fourth round. He's still hanging on to that job for now.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he can start taking off. And being a viable quarterback option. He'd be a guy that I'd be potentially okay with moving because I think I'm pretty solid on quarterback, and would just. Take that return on investment.
Yeah, and you got him in the fourth, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
yeah, no, that's really good value.
Mm-hmm.
Especially he's been starter for a few games now, looking not horrible.
Yeah.
If you had to swap rosters with one other team for the rest of the season, who would it be? Why?
All right. The easy answer is Jamie. I think his team is stacked. I think his team is really great. The fun answer, I'm going to go with Cody's team, Josh's Jacks.
Okay.
So this is I've done some little analysis on these on each of these teams here. Cody had a rough start to the season. He put up over 150 points this week on me though. All right, he just smoked me. He's got Dart sitting on the taxi squad with Josh Allen as his first quarterback. He's got 3 2026 firsts, and so he's capable of making a move.
Yeah.
He's got that guy from Tampa.
Abuka,
Yeah, like also on his taxi squad.
Yeah, no.
I think his window's open. I scroll through his squad. There's good guys. Tracy's going to step up
Yeah,
into that number
now
one
he's
role.
starting.
They said in Carolina they're probably going to start. I think they've been going with more of a committee running back room. I think they're going to switch and give more of those carries to Donald, is what I've heard. Jackson's.
The best receiver.
He's insane.
Fantasy this year.
I look at his roster. He's quite. I think he's capable, and he's got those picks where I know at the beginning of the season he was thinking that this was probably going to be a down year, kind of reset things. I think he's got a chance to really make a solid push here, and take my sixth place playoff spot.
No, that kind of gets right into my next question. I think I already know what you're going to say, but who's the dark horse contender that nobody's talking about?
Well, I will. It's a good thing for podcasts to have a different answer. So
right,
I'll give you a different answer here. I still like Nick. I think he has same thing. He's seventh, but I think he's like top 5 with points for. Same thing. He's gotten unlucky. He's got same thing, 2026 first. Like these are the guys that what do they want to do? I think that Nick's in a good spot still to potentially make a little bit of a run here.
Okay, all right, yeah. No, kind of going right into our next sections, it's kind of all very similar. Who do you think's the most overrated in the league?
Well, can I say myself? I think I'm a very fluky 4-4 here. I think I've had some rough next is kind of you, Luke.
I kind of agree with you. I keep kind of flirting in my head. Do I want to tank? Do I want to keep going? Because I've made some big move to get some big guys. I've obtained Puka. I attained Gibbs. Both of which were not cheap, gave up a ton of capital and guys for them, and I literally have nothing left as far as picks go, to make any more moves. So, if you're asking me the question, I almost think that I might be overrated. I think I am overrated. I'm hanging in there. It might not be another good week. It looks like it's gonna be a battle between me and Dylan this week. Again, another battle, but. Had a lot of guys on bye last week, but I don't blame you saying me at all.
That was the picks was the biggest thing, because I at least if things start going bad for me, I didn't anticipate this year being a really good year for me, and I still have a bunch of picks in the future. You don't have anywhere near as many picks for the future, so if things start to slide for you, it'll be a little bit tougher to kind of restart here. So.
Talking about picks. Who do you think complains the most about trades in this league? Complains the most.
Complains the most. It's got to be most hated. And I think, I don't know. Maybe it's different, but I think he's and speaking of picks, absolutely 0 picks that he's got right now. So it's difficult, and it's difficult to trade with him too, because I've got a ton of picks. And I'm looking at some of his better players on his roster. So the best thing for me to do is give him picks for those players, and there's no way he would ever accept that. And he'll throw some screenshots around in the chat as well. Too.
Right, yeah.
So I always love a good screenshot in the chat.
Fair enough. Last question I have for you, a bit of a flyer. Who would win in a fantasy-themed spelling bee? And who would come in last?
Who would win in a fantasy-themed spelling bee? I would be low. I got my notes here, and I didn't do any sort of spell check. A lot of mistakes.
I see.
THR for the guy. Yeah,
it's tough.
We'll go Nick for the spell. We'll give Evan some shine here.
Okay,
all right?
Yeah. We haven't talked a lot about Evan.
Haven't talked a lot about Evan.
We will get into it, in the
hanging
next
out there
segment,
at the 3rd seed. So I'll go Evan for the best speller.
Today's show is sponsored by Jamie's Late Night Trade Emporium, open 24/7, but busiest right before kickoff. Need a deal done fast? Jamie's got you covered. No time for logic, no time for analysis, just raw emotion making sleeper notifications 2 minutes before kickoff. Jamie's Late Night Trade Emporium, where timing is optional and chaos is guaranteed. Moving into our next segment, the fantasy football hierarchy of the league. Who's the best? Who's the worst? I kind of talked about my rankings last week. Dan, what are your rankings looking like? Tier 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, tier 1 is still just Jamie. I mean, it's a little bit of a fluky loss, a weird situation, but you look at his like potential points. It like extends out the line for everyone else. Everyone else, it's like only fills up 3/4 of your phone screen. It's an incredible roster. So I've got him tier 1. You know, it's championship or choke is what the tiers called. You know, I think he had a really solid team last year, and then we all know what happened. So. Tier two, I'm going to go with serious contenders. We got Eric, Evan, and Regan here. So Eric, I really like his wide receivers, and this is looking ahead here. Barkley, I think, had some tough matchups at the beginning of the year. I think come playoff time, he's got some great matchups. Do you know who the Eagles are playing Week 17?
I've never even looked.
The Buffalo Bills.
Oh,
are the Buffalo Bills a good run defense? Absolutely not. So I really like that, Barkley there, but I don't, the great wide receivers, Chase and Jefferson, it's just who the heck is throwing them the ball. It's going to be, if they can get some mojo going, I certainly hope Chase is playing well, because that means potentially Burrow's coming back a little earlier than we originally thought. But if they can get some consistent, if he can get some consistent play out of his wide receivers, he'll be good. But no 2026 draft picks to lean back on. So it's kind of all in right here. Evan, really like his running backs. Obviously, he's the guy I'm rooting for in these top couple tiers here. Injuries have started to pile up for him. I mean, he's had Flacco as a starting quarterback. I think Purdy's coming back though. I think he needs to make a move to really solidify himself as a top guy here, and I think he can. He's got 6 2026 draft picks, so I think he's capable of doing that. Regan's next here. I mean, just beat Jamie last week, so that we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier too. Maybe thinking more of the future. I don't know what the deal is with that Neighbors trade, but he's got May and Daniels. Really like that quarterback combo. I'm really liking Drake May. Unfortunately, he's
putting up some crazy points. I think after this week, he's the QB1, if I'm not mistaken, in fantasy football.
That makes sense. He's playing great. And then Jaden Daniels was awesome his rookie year. Kind of struggling a little bit this year, but we'll see if he can retain his form. But I really like this too. He's got Daniels, and he's got the backup, Marcus Mariota. So it's like he's always going to be. He's never going to fall into a B-Todd situation because he's got the backup for Jaden Daniels, who's been dealing with some injuries this year. Tier 3, I got could make. So I called this could make the playoffs, but all these teams are a little bit flawed. I mean, to me, it's really could make the playoffs, but who cares? I mean, Luke, we kind of touched on it a little bit. You got the 4th most points for, but you've racked up a few more losses than those other true contenders. I think you can still mix things up come playoff time. Same thing with me. I got lucky with some wins I don't think I'd really deserved, but I'm in 6th place, not tanking yet. Nick, I think, is the complete opposite team of mine. Like, he's got some unlucky losses, but I don't think that 7th place spot is really where he belongs. And I think, depending on the matchups coming up, he could make a real playoff push. And Cody, we talked about a little bit earlier, too. I think he had that rough start, but if he wants to commit, take those, Dart is probably top 15 QB at this point. Just
take his points per game, and he's he's definitely a QB1, just points per game.
Yeah, I mean, take those guys off your taxi squad, make a couple moves, dish out some of those 2026 picks, and I think you could really see a solid push from Cody here. And then the tier 4 is just the 2 and 6 crew. Dylan, I can't. So this is a fun fact about Dylan. Didn't really get into his team besides this. You can't spell Dylan without Dan. All right, 11 guys on his roster were at one point on my roster.
Oh, really?
So we'll go through it real quick because I think it's kind of funny. Running, and I really like the team name. Achan had him. Quentin Johnson had him. Coleman had him. Dobbs had him. Pierce had him. Harvey had him. Robinson had him, like for a second. But I had him. God, I think I had Goddard at one point too. The IR is brutal. Godwin had him. Eckler had him. Cole Kmet had him. So it was just crazy. But that's all I got on him. Most hated. I mean, looking through his starters, I was really surprised by this. His team doesn't look that bad. But he just hates draft picks, and you can't. I think the depth is always going to be his.
I honestly, does he have any draft picks for the next 3 years?
No,
I think I was looking at that.
Zero draft picks.
Yeah, that's insane. He's all in.
He's all in, but he's 2-6. It's like you gotta.
It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, so Tyler, I think he just doesn't have enough high-end talent on his roster. But I think I kind of like what Tyler's doing. I think he realizes that he's got some solid young wide receivers. He's got Hunter. I think he's got a couple of the Panthers guys that are, starting to look a little bit fun on offense there. So he doesn't have a 2026 first though. So it's like, I think you got to make some moves there and get some higher draft picks, and get ready to drink because I think there's a few more shotguns in your future.
Right.
And then B Todd, his fantasy team. Just like the Jets, they stink, and it's looking rough for him. I mean, he's got some unlucky. He's had some unlucky moves too that I think just haven't really panned out. I mean, the Raiders running back. I mean, he was a slam dunk first pick, but it just hasn't quite worked out. So. It's not like there's, it's not like he's putting in a good effort.
He's got picks. He's got picks.
He does have a lot of picks, yeah. All jokes aside, I mean, I think he's still, he's doing the right things. He's just going through a rough time right now.
Yeah, no, I do like the lineup. I think it's fair, very fair.
Now,
tier system and
yeah, it's basically just the standings, but that's why you do the tiers.
Yeah. No, it's fair enough. Fair enough. Going into some league updates. Last week, low score was B Todd. I think it was 70-something points. With 100 more points in the highest score of the week, Eric taking that spot. Just as a reminder, B Todd, another shotgun that you'll need to complete before the end of the season. Undefeated pot update. Another year's gone by. And just as kind of a reminder, the undefeated pot goes to the individual who remains undefeated for the entire regular season, not including playoffs. So you can lose in the playoffs, you still win the undefeated pot. It is 1 times buy-in that gets added every single year. So we're up to $125. It was $25 the first year, $50 these last two. Jamie just lost to Regan, so another year's gone by. That pot will update depending on what we do for the buy-in next year, which I'm assuming is going to be $50. Were you going to say something?
Use some of those picks. That would be my last note to B Todd. Stop getting the shotguns. Use some picks. I think trade some of those future assets to avoid some shotguns and mix things up. Make it a little bit more interesting here.
Yeah, and as a reminder, trade deadline this year, which this is new for this year, week 14. So right before the playoffs start, we will not be able to make any sort of trades during the entirety of the playoffs. So weeks 15, 16, and 17. After championship's done, trades can resume as normal. But yeah, new this year, week 14 is the trade deadline. Our final segment, and a fun one, must I say, is going to be potential trades that could be made. Dan, I see you got quite the list here, the reasonings for each.
Yeah, I was up,
what are we thinking here?
I was up late last night cooking in the lab to see. Here's some trades that I think would be I think would be beneficial to both sides. Here's my guidelines. It was only using bench players as of like last night, and trade block players.
Okay.
So my first trade suggestion, Cody, trade your 2026 first to Jamie for Breece Hall. I think straight up trade. Jamie, now again, this kind of goes back to the Taylor situation. Are we keeping him or not? But I mean, he's got Bijan, Jacobs, and Christian McCaffrey, and Jonathan Taylor. Like, insane running back room for Jamie. So Breece Hall kind of feels like the odd man out there. And then I really like Cody's situation. I think he could use the running back depth though. So if he's gonna commit to this season, I think that 2026 first rounder, because you've got 3 of them, I think yours would be the one that you'd want to trade, because that, if you're gonna move up in the playoffs, that pick could go down a little bit.
Yeah. How has Breece Hall been doing? I feel like he was struggling a little bit in the beginning of the season, but I feel like he's been coming more and more alive as the season's been going on. Is he playing a lot better, like getting more and more points?
Yeah, last week was crazy. I think he had 2 touchdowns and a passing touchdown.
Damn.
I think something crazy like that. So yeah, he had a great game. And the other trade that they potentially do, Jamie snagged Singletary, and Cody's got Tracy as the starting now. So some little Giants back and forth would probably be more realistic, but way less exciting. I like the first for Breece Hall. So,
I just got a message from one of my, from one of our listeners. I believe Cody has an embargo on Jamie for trades.
Okay.
That's what I just heard from one of our listeners. So
yeah, that's
I
thing.
think a lot had happened this week. You just put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Yeah,
so.
and that's why you can't be accepting trades 2 minutes before kickoff,
Fair.
right? Like
Fair.
that's you want to have friendly relationships with all these GMs. That's another thing we didn't really get a chance to touch into. But what are the rivalries in our league? Like, is it? I mean, it sounds like Cody and Jamie. Maybe do you?
I hate Jamie.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll put that right out there. Mm-hmm. He is my biggest enemy in this league. He's a. That's all I have to say. I have really nothing nice to say about that guy. He's going to choke in the playoffs once again. He refuses to make any sort of trade, even though he just made that trade, which I think was completely stupid on his part. 1. 2, it just blows my mind that he's unwilling to make any sort of trade with the picks he has. He could have an incredible team with the picks he has. He just refuses because he will not make a trade unless he's absolutely fleecing the other person, which he fleeced himself in this trade because he thought he was fleecing Regan by doing it 2 minutes before the game. Jamie, you're trash. That's my rivalry.
I was going to say most hated in draft picks.
Okay, that could be that could be another rivalry. He literally has 0 picks.
Okay, yeah, I love it.
I'm not sure if there's anyone that you specifically hate in the league. As commissioner, I feel like a lot of people have a rivalry with me.
Yeah,
I've been called a dictator. I've been called every name in the book. Mm-hmm. But when it comes down to brass tacks, what I say goes.
Cody, what's the new Saints quarterback now, right? Is it Suggs?
Oh, Shuck.
That's Shuck?
Tyler Shuck.
So Cody Shucks.
Yeah.
Duke's Penix. Very nice. Yeah, very clever.
It's an incredible name. It may be the best name. I have nothing but respect for that name. It's incredible.
So this shows me maybe it's a little bit of a, not the biggest fantasy guy, but didn't realize that was the Saints rookie quarterback's name. So
Tyler Shuck.
Very clever. Yeah, it's
incredible.
Finally clicking for me now.
Incredible name.
Very good.
I really don't think you can get much better with a name like that. Incredible.
All right, I got 2 other potential trades that I did my digging last night to get these. So this is going to be between Tyler and Jamie again. Now, it might not be a complete fleece job, so who knows if it would be accepted.
Fair.
But I would say Tyler would trade a 2026 second and Sam Laporta to Jamie for a 2026 first and Dalton Kincaid. Now, this kind of gives I mean, Jamie, an upgrade at tight end. I mean, Kincaid has been playing solid, but has been dealing with those injuries. I think he is still. I think he got one target last week. So, but I think he does show some promise in that Bills offense. And Tyler, it's just. I still like Kincaid. I still like the upside there, and you just get a 2026 first. So I like this. It's not necessarily the biggest pull that you could get, but I think that is a good trade for both guys there.
Yeah. No, I don't have any problem with that one at all.
Then the last trade I had was most hated in Luke, actually.
Okay,
so
all right.
This is going to be this would be kind of an all-in move for Luke here, but this would help our buddy most hated get some maybe potentially much needed draft picks. Give him Justin Herbert to Luke. I think I was looking at your roster. Only one quarterback.
I have Jalen Hurts as well.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
was he
so
just
I
on
have Jalen.
bye?
He might have been.
Okay,
I think
that
he was
was
just on a bye.
That
But I do have
makes sense.
Jalen Hurts, C.J. Stroud, and Stroud
Yeah, okay.
really hasn't been doing that
Yeah.
much for me. So maybe it is a situation where I could go with a Justin Herbert because he's been playing so well and a lot more consistent with points. I acquired Stroud last year from you because I wanted to buy him low. I love buying guys low and kind of selling them high. But he really hasn't moved much.
Yeah.
From when I
Still low.
yeah,
Still
still low. A lot of work that needs to be done with that Texans O-line. But yeah, I mean, maybe it is a situation where I could give my picks for
Now,
Herbert.
I didn't go into the compensation here. Luke, you would give up a 2028 first.
Okay.
That was most hated's pick.
Okay. Yep. He gets his pick back.
A 2027 second.
Yep.
That was also most hated pick.
Okay.
And a 2027 third. That was 2027 third. That was Jamie's pick.
Okay,
So
okay.
Get some picks, not any 2026 picks. But I thought it was funny. You got two pretty premium picks there.
Yeah, I mean,
in the future.
I think if I did something like this, I think what I would do is I would offer Stroud and maybe some picks to acquire Justin Herbert. That way he still gets a QB who's young, who's very young. And he gets, some picks, to work with. So, yeah, I that's got me thinking. I think I'm going to be looking on KTC tonight, after we put the baby down to figure out what we could do.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
I like it.
Little seedlings for everybody here.
I like it. All right, that is all for this week's episode of the Commissioner's Corner. As always, thank you, Mystic Dan, for hopping in the pod. Great interview today. Much longer, more involved than the first one. Like I said, these pods are only going to get better and better as the weeks go on. I'll catch you next week for all that Week 9 has to offer. Until then, good luck setting those lineups, and may your points for finally match your points against. Got it right this time. Thanks, y'all.